a buddy calls me, says, hey, you need to be at office at 8 o'clock in the evening. We're calling Hong Kong. So I'm like, okay. We usually get there at 8, get everything set up, start calling like 9 p.m. And, so I walk in like 8, it's like 7:55-ish. And I walk in, and my buddy is literally sitting on the Xerox copier, copying his ass cheeks and ball sack. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And I got some civilian stories here for you. Let's see, I graduated college, I believe it was 97. And then for about, it's like 10 and a half, 11 months, I took a job out in Phoenix, Arizona as an investment banker. I was working, for my buddy who's a Green Beret like me, but he was working out for an organization out there. I don't think it exists anymore. It was called Joseph Charles and Associates, and we shared the office with a bunch of stockbrokers, and they had one half, and then we had the other half as investment bankers. Hang on a minute. Now, the stockbrokers, they would peddle their stocks, for whatever, the firm wanted to, was trying to, put out in the street. Usually it was IPOs or stocks for, initial public offerings, which, was okay, I guess. A lot of guys in the pit were doing cold callings, and I worked for the investment banking side, and the cold calling I did was all to institutions, and I would call all over the world. We called Hong Kong a lot, Europe, so we'd always come in at crazy hours during the night to use the office phones and shit. And it was pretty funny. There was a lot of animosity between the guy who ran the stockbrokers and the guy I worked for was a friend of mine. So it led to a lot of shenanigans. So this one story is it's pretty fucking funny. So a buddy calls me, says, hey, you need to be at office at 8 o'clock in the evening. We're calling Hong Kong. So I'm like, okay. We usually get there at 8, get everything set up, start calling like 9 p.m. And, so I walk in like 8, it's like 7:55-ish. And I walk in, and my buddy is literally sitting on the Xerox copier, copying his ass cheeks and ball sack. So then I'm like, what the fuck you doing? He goes, we're gonna fuck with the dude. I'm like, all right. So he pulls out the papers. He's like, so what's better, sack or no sack? What do you think works? I'm like, hey, if you're gonna do this, go over the top. So he's like, yeah, you're right. We'll go with sack. And Phil, he locked his door every night, but he'd leave at like 5:30 in the evening and come in at 7 in the morning. We're fucking Green Berets, man. You think a locked office door is gonna stop us? No. We picked that lock probably in 90 seconds, and then we got into his office and we took down one of his pictures and we cropped and put the picture of my boss's ass and balls in there perfectly. And it was black and white, so it fit with all the other black and white pictures and whatever he had in his office. And we put it up there and we relocked the door, shut it. We don't say anything about it. Now, I forgot about it. I thought maybe, the guy, the stockbroker guy would come in and find it first thing in the morning because he was super anal retentive. But that's not how it went. So it was like 3 or 4 days later. I'm in there, during the day doing my deal. I did venture capital, so I would call places in the United States as well, when we weren't calling overseas, and send them out Precipice and other materials that try to get them to invest in these ventures. It was fairly risky, but it is what it is. So the stockbroker guy comes over the the megaphone on the office, and he's like, I'm not mad, and I just want to know how long the picture of the ass and balls has been on the wall. So I'm sitting there, and I could look through the office window at the guy I'm working for, and he's kind of, he's got the headphone on, and he just looks at me and goes, so apparently, he had like a bunch of, high-profile meetings in his office, the stockbroker guy, and the whole time there's a picture of an ass and hairy balls right there. Oh my God, that was fucking hilarious. We covered the coke. All right. Another thing we did, the old stockbroker guy. This is about 4 or 5 months later. Again, I come in there. It's 7:50. The guy I'm working for is in there, and he's blowing up this inflatable sex doll. Again, we open his office. Now the stockbroker guy is an adamant non-smoker, okay, and we got it, So this one was really, really kind of cruel. So we put the sex doll in his chair, and then we put an ashtray on his desk and light this huge stogie, and let it just just burn down, and just fill a whole office full of this nasty rancid smoke. And I made sure, I was there bright and early. And the guy walks in, he's like, what the fuck? He pretty much knew who did it. He goes, you guys were fucking with me? I'm like, oh, what you talking about? He had to have professionals come in to clean his carpets and steam clean the walls, get the smell of the cigar out of his office. And then the ladies that worked up front came in just in time to find that guy deflating the sex doll. And they're like, oh wow, what was going on here last night? Oh God, that was funny. I miss those guys. Now I did this one to my the guy I was working for. He was driving a Porsche, and it was Phoenix. It was 100 and bazillion degrees outside. So, I go out there, and he's got the windows down on his Porsche. So me and one of the other guys that worked in the office, we put his Porsche into neutral because it was a stick, and we rolled it back into the middle of the parking structure, put the parking brake on, and we put it really close to this person's car. It wasn't touching it, but it was close. Then we go back in there and go, John, I just got a call from the guy who's pulling security down there in the in the parking structure, and your Porsche rolled back and hit another car, man. He's like, what the fuck? He goes stomping out there, He comes back up and goes, oh, that's pretty fucking funny, Popp. It's fucking funny. I'm like, and 3 days later, we all go out to lunch, and all of a sudden I look around after we get done eating, and everyone's gone but me. They basically all dined and dashed, and I got stuck with a $140 lunch bill. So that was amusing. They totally got me back for that one. And this was 97-ish, I think. It was when Tyson fought Holyfield first. Maybe it was 96. The years all jumble together. But this is in Arizona. It's really close to Las Vegas, and I had some walking around money. I had a good tax return that year, and I'm not one of those guys who runs out and spends all my fucking tax money on the spot. I usually save it up and keep it around in case I need it for emergency. So, you know, I know a guy who knows a guy who's a bookie, and I get the odds on what, you know, for Holyfield to win. And he was like by the time I placed the bet, he was like a 5 or 6 to 1 underdog. He was not expected to win that fight. So I put you know, a considerable sum of money down, and you know, lo and behold, you know, I won. You know, it wasn't really that big of a stretch because, you know, Tyson was in prison for all that time, got out. I think he had one tune-up fight, and he thinks he's going to go against the world champion, you know, Holyfield. And Holyfield, you know, basically was no idiot, studied his shit. I knew he's gonna fuck Tyson up. And I remember we went to go get the money from that guy that night. We roll up in my buddy's Porsche, and I get out, and they have me this sandwich bag full of loot. And the guy's like, yeah. He's like getting all pissed off, like he doesn't want to pay me or anything. I'm like, dude, is this not your job? You know, you can't win them all, and every now and again you lose. You know, he goes, well, I lost big this time. And I'm like, give me my money. Jump in the car, and we take off. And that was actually, I still have some of that money laying around somewhere. You know, it is what it is. And if you go through some of my older videos, there's one of my fights that I have when I took the Intercontinental belt. That was one of the, I want to say it was one of the local belts in the area, but it was international rules. And you know, really didn't have nothing to do, so I usually went to the gym every night and worked out between 3 and 4 hours. And you know, I was fighting the circuit out there, and it was California, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, and I think that's New Mexico. So I fought in all those states. International rules, which is basically kicks, you know, kicks to the legs, hands and feet, and then in I think 2 of the 4 or 5 states I fought in, you could use elbows. So it was basically Muay Thai. I had a great time doing that, and kept myself in rocket shape. Okay. I actually got into a pretty significant brawl. Well, it really wasn't a brawl because it didn't last that long, but it was an altercation. A lot of times I'd get off work and I would go over to Scottsdale and eat at this one bar, and that was on my way to the kickboxing gym. And you know, I'd always get all kinds of shit from these guys. These bikers would sit at the end of the fucking bar, and they'd just rip on me because I had to wear basically a suit and a tie, and they just fucking dicks. You know, they'd call me faggot, all kinds of the horse shit, and you know, whatever. So on this particular day, I didn't go to that place in Scottsdale prior to going to the gym. I went there afterwards to eat dinner. And I remember I'm sitting there eating, and you know, I don't have my tie on because I left it in the car. I don't have my jacket on, I left it in the car. It's hot as fuck. And I'm eating a chicken sandwich, onion rings, and I was drinking basically what they had, one of the Bud Light on tap, I think it was. And the guy's just, you know, just running his fucking mouth more than usual, just being a just rancid fucking dickhead. So I finish up, and I'm like, look, I'm just gonna leave. I don't need any trouble. So I'm walking towards the back door. They're here to the side, and as I turn left to go towards the door, one of the dudes just takes his beer and just soaks me basically from like bottom of my knees, you know, to my fucking face. You know, and then I just go off. I start calling this guy all these, I'm like, fuck you, you piece of fucking shit. And I'm just going off, you know. And it's him and 2 of his buddies, you know, and I'm like, whatever. And now the bouncers are all like, hey, you know, they're like, think it's gonna go down. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, I don't want no trouble. Fuck these guys. So I walk out the door. Well, these 3 guys follow me out there, and yeah, I stop, I turn around, and they're fucking saying some shit. I flip them off, and hey, fuck you. I turn and I walk away. Well, the guy runs up on me and grabs me. I think he grabbed me on the right side and spins me around like he's gonna punch me in the face. My hands are instantly up, and when I come around, I don't even go back to neutral. I come around with a low kick, shin on shin, boom, broke his leg. Like literally, it was like I heard it crack, and he fell like a ton of fucking bricks. And his two buddies were standing there looking at me, and I'm like, let's go. And you should have seen those guys instantaneously, like, he broke his fucking leg. Oh, and then they're fucking, trying to pick him up. He's screaming like a bitch. And I just continue on, walk off into the darkness, get in my fucking Camaro, take off. I didn't go back there for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I go back, it's like after 3 weeks, and the bouncers knew me because I went there all the fucking time. I remember I walk up to the back door, and I'm like, so are we fucking cool or what? And he goes, oh no, yeah, we're cool. Those dudes, those biker fuckers, we told them to never come back here because they're starting too much shit. And the cops asked if we knew you, and we said fucking no. So I'm like, all right. And they basically said that, that motherfucker had it coming. They saw the whole fucking thing, and they're like, he must have had an iron bar under his fucking, in his pants or on his leg or something because he broke his leg so easily. And I'm like, what the fuck? Those guys are older, fatter motherfuckers who are out of shape. And I'm trained in like 3 to 4 hours, 5 times a week, doing shin conditioning and kicking, basically a heavy bag full of sand to toughen up my legs. Fuck those guys. And finally, this is the last part of this. I had this really shitty flea bag apartment out there down Camelback, really bad. It was a bad part of town. I really didn't have anything of value. I had my car, but that car had a kill switch on it. And if you didn't know where that was or how to, reconnect it, there's no fucking way you're taking that car unless you tow it away. So I really wasn't worried about that. But one Saturday, I get up, I open the door to go out for my morning run, and I look down, and there's fucking blood and drag marks on the fucking ground. I'm like, what the fuck? So I get and I call the fucking cops. Cops come out and they go, what the fuck? You got fucking drag marks here. These are fucking, what the fuck? And they're like, how do you know it's blood and how do you know it's drag marks? I'm like, motherfucker, I did 2 wars. It's a fucking Green Beret Airborne Ranger, goddammit. I know what fucking blood looks like and I know what drag marks look like, and that's both of it right here. Now fucking do your cop thing and figure out what the fuck's going on, because this is bullshit. They never got back to me, so I'm sure they're like, yeah, fuck that guy. It's a bad part of town. People get killed and dragged off all the time. And to my buddy, if you see this, give me a call. And remember, I can hear you getting fatter. All right, gentlemen. That was what I did for 11 months when I decided that I needed to take a break from the National Guard, and I just got done with college. I needed to get that first job so I could have something on my resume other than, no experience, graduated college. I went right back to the 425, and then Fun and Games pretty much took off right where I left off. I think I had 6 drills banked up, meaning the way they worked it at the unit, if you did extra stuff, they would bank days for you. So I only really missed, 3 months worth of drills, or 2 months worth of drills, because the UA who ran the unit was really cool with me. I told him I'd be coming back in about a year and a half, and he kept me on the books. So I didn't really have a break in service, so it worked out pretty good. Hey, you guys take it easy. We're coming up on 20 minutes.